May this prayer hold you gently as you walk through the quiet places where grief still breathes. Sarah's life ended in the land of Canaan, with a silence that settled over the tents. And you stand here today, feeling the weight of losses that have reshaped your world. Abraham came to mourn for her and to weep for her. And your own heart knows the ache of saying goodbye to someone or something that mattered deeply. The scriptures say he rose from beside his dead, and you have risen from moments of grief with a heaviness that words cannot fully hold. Nothing about Sarah's passing felt small, and nothing about your sorrow feels insignificant. The grief is real. Abraham stood before the Hittites with a voice marked by sorrow, and you have stood before others trying to speak through the ache that sits in your chest. Sarah's memory lingered in every corner of their home, and memories linger in your mind with a tenderness that both comforts and wounds. Abraham sought a place to lay her to rest, and you seek a place in your heart where the pain can settle without overwhelming you. Sarah's absence changed the rhythm of Abraham's days, and your own losses have changed the rhythm of your life. The ache remains. Abraham bowed before the people of the land with humility, and you bow before God with a heart that feels fragile. Sarah's story ended with dignity and honor, and you long for your grief to be held with the same sacred care. Abraham honored her life with a burial that reflected his love, and you long to honor what you have lost without drowning in sorrow. Sarah's memory became a landmark in Abraham's journey, and your memories have become landmarks in your own. God sees. Movement 1. Modern internal lament. Some mornings begin with a heaviness that settles before you even open your eyes, and the quiet around you feels sharper than usual. Other moments catch you off guard with memories that rise without warning, and the ache returns with a force that surprises you. Certain places remind you of what is gone, and the familiarity of those places stirs emotions you thought had settled. Quiet hours reveal the depth of your longing, and the silence becomes a mirror for your sorrow. The heart aches. Different days carry different shades of grief, and the unpredictability of it all leaves you feeling unsteady. Unexpected reminders appear in conversations or songs, and a sting of loss presses against your chest. Familiar routines feel emptier than before, and the absence of what once was becomes impossible to ignore. Gentle attempts to comfort yourself fall short, and the weight of your emotions feels difficult to carry. The sorrow deepens. Various memories rise with bittersweet clarity, and the contrast between joy and loss creates a tension inside you. Certain moments feel frozen in time, and the longing to revisit them grows stronger. Moments of laughter feel strange in the shadow of grief, and the guilt of moving forward unsettles your spirit. Attempts to explain your emotions to others feel incomplete, and the complexity of your grief remains hidden beneath the surface. The spiritual turning. Yet even here, God draws near with the same tenderness that surrounded Abraham in his mourning, and his presence settles over your heart with quiet strength. Nothing about your grief is overlooked by him, and nothing about your sorrow is dismissed. Every tear you have shed has been seen, and every silent ache has been held. Each moment of longing is known by his heart, and each breath you take is carried by his mercy. God is near. Grace moves toward you with gentle purpose, and grace refuses to let grief define your entire story. Hope rises in the spaces where pain once dominated, and hope whispers that healing is possible. Love surrounds the memories that shaped you, and love softens the sharp edges of your sorrow. Peace settles over the storm inside you, and peace reminds you that God walks with you through every valley. Mercy remains. Strength grows in the places where you feel weakest, and strength carries you when your own resolve falters. Healing begins in the corners of your heart that felt unreachable, and healing moves gently through the memories that once overwhelmed you. Comfort reaches into the depth of your loss, and comfort restores what grief tried to steal. Assurance settles into your spirit with quiet authority, and assurance reminds you that God holds both your past and your future. He is faithful. Light breaks through the shadows that linger, and light reveals the path you could not see before. Purpose rises from the ashes of sorrow, and purpose reminds you that your story continues. Renewal touches the parts of you that felt numb, and renewal brings life where heaviness once lived. Restoration begins to unfold in ways you did not expect, and restoration proves that God has been with you all along. You are not alone. Movement 3. The restoration. Now let your heart rest in the truth that God honored Sarah's life, and let that same truth settle into your spirit with healing power. Now breathe deeply as the God who comforts the brokenhearted steadies your emotions. And let His presence soothe the places that feel raw. Now allow His voice to speak into the silence that frightened you, and let His words remind you that grief is not a sign of weakness. Now trust that the God who walked with Abraham through loss will walk with you through your own, and let your soul lean into His compassion. Peace returns. Fresh strength rises as you release the fear of forgetting. And fresh courage grows as you embrace the memories that shaped your love. Gentle assurance fills the spaces where sadness once lived, and gentle mercy covers the wounds that time could not heal. Quiet confidence begins to replace the trembling inside you. And quiet hope returns as you recognize God's hand in your healing. Deep comfort moves through the places that once resisted peace, and deep rest settles into the core of who you are. God restores. New beginnings form where sorrow once stood, and new clarity rises where confusion once settled. Soft gratitude returns to the places that forgot how to feel, and soft joy grows as you see God's faithfulness unfold. Clear direction emerges from the fog of grief, and clear purpose guides you toward what comes next. Steady love surrounds you with a warmth that cannot be shaken, and steady grace carries you into a future shaped by healing. God remains. May the God who comforted Abraham in his grief hold your heart with tenderness as you heal.